79 Robert Frost quotes that will change your life. In 3 words I can sum up everything I've learned about life, it goes on. We love the things we love for what they are. No tears in the writer, no tears in the reader. No surprise in the writer, no surprise in the reader. A poem begins as a lump in the throat, a sense of wrong, a homesickness, a lovesickness. Love is an irresistible desire to be irresistibly desired. Education is the ability to listen to almost anything without losing your temper or your self-confidence. Forgive, O Lord, my little jokes on thee, and I'll forgive thy great big one on me. If we couldn't laugh, we would all go insane. Freedom lies in being bold. The best way out is always through. Poetry is what gets lost in translation. I am not a teacher, but an awakener. Happiness makes up in height for what it lacks in length. Home is the place where, when you have to go there, they have to take you in. Don't ever take a fence down until you know why it was put up. Forgive me my nonsense, as I also forgive the nonsense of those who think they talk sense. I'm not confused. I'm just well mixed. A diplomat is a man who always remembers a woman's birthday but never remembers her age. To be a poet is a condition, not a profession. I hold it to be the inalienable right of anybody to go to hell in his own way. The afternoon knows what the morning never suspected. Poetry is when an emotion has found its thought and the thought has found words. How many things have to happen to you before something occurs to you? We ran as if to meet the moon. How many things would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? We dance round in a ring and suppose, but the secret sits in the middle and knows. The reason why worry kills more people than work is that more people worry than work. Something we were withholding made us weak, until we found it was ourselves. A jury consists of 12 persons chosen to decide who has the better lawyer. The world is full of willing people, some willing to work, the rest willing to let them. Thinking is not to agree or disagree. That's voting. Before I built a wall, I'd ask to know what I was walling in or walling out. The middle of the road is where the white line is, and that's the worst place to drive. Unless you are educated in metaphor, you are not safe to be let loose in the world. I believe in teaching, but I don't believe in going to school. By faithfully working 8 hours a day, you may eventually get to be boss and work 12 hours a day. Oh, come forth into the storm and rout and be my love in the rain. I am a writer of books in retrospect. I talk in order to understand, I teach in order to learn. A liberal is a man too broad-minded to take his own side in a quarrel. Families break up when they get hints you don't intend and miss hints that you do. A person will sometimes devote all his life to the development of one part of his body, the wishbone. Come over the hills and far with me and be my love in the rain. A civilized society is one which tolerates eccentricity to the point of doubtful sanity. Anything more than the truth would be too much. A bank is a place where they lend you an umbrella in fair weather and ask for it back when it begins to rain. Good fences make good neighbors. You've got to love what's lovable, and hate what's hateable. It takes brains to see the difference. Every poem is a momentary stay against the confusion of the world. What we live by we die by. A poem begins in delight and ends in wisdom. Poetry is a way of taking life by the throat. Most of the change we think we see in life is due to truths being in and out of favor. Education doesn't change life much. It just lifts trouble to a higher plane of regard. My goal in life is to unite my avocation with my vocation, as my two eyes make one in sight. I would not come in. I meant not even if asked, and I hadn't been. Hope is not found in a way out but a way through. Writing free verse is like playing tennis with the net down. The hurt is not enough, I long for weight and strength, to feel the earth as rough to all my length. So was I once myself a swinger of birches, and so I dream of going back to be. You, of course, are a rose but were always a rose. Being the boss anywhere is lonely. Being a female boss in a world of mostly men is especially so. A poet never takes notes. You never take notes in a love affair. For dear me, why abandon a belief merely because it ceases to be true? What is done for the love of it or not really done at all. I dwell in a lonely house I know that vanished many a summer ago. Nobody was ever meant to remember or invent what he did with every cent. I dwell with a strangely aching heart in that vanished abode there far apart. Our very life depends on everything's recurring till we answer from within. Life must be kept up at a great rate in order to absorb any considerable amount of learning. Earth's the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. I am one who has been acquainted with the night. Like a piece of ice on a hot stove, the poem must ride on its own melting. No tears in the writer, no tears in the reader. To be social is to be forgiving. One could do worse than be a swinger of birches. Possessing what we still were unpossessed by, possessed by what we now no more possessed. Unless you are at home in the metaphor, you are not safe anywhere. Poets are like baseball pitchers. Both have their moments. The intervals are the tough things. No surprise for the writer, no surprise for the reader.